Reppin' Philly ain't a choice, it's a way of life. PhillyGoat.com is your one stop shop for Philly pride. Use the promo code Jim Montgomery for 10% off. Look fresh, stay Philly, Philly Goat. Go Birds. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Brotherly Birds Breakdown. We're the Montgomery brothers talking a little Sixers before we came on here. I'm Jim.
I'm Kyle. You can
And
call
we're
me
back.
BJ.
Stud. Might as well say it. It's got me super excited about the Sixers.
Absolute stud. I heard, too, what are we going to call that backcourt with him and Maxey? I heard somebody called him Mach 2. And then I don't know if you hear, if you ever listen to Yoshi that calls in the WIP, he was like, they just call them no breaks because they're all gas, no breaks. They just run up and down the court. And I was like, you know what? I like it. That's going to stick for me.
No, I love it. But we can get into that next week when there's not as much Eagles to talk about. But it is week 8, revenge game against the Giants. But first, good bounce back. A lot better last week than the previous 2 weeks in Philly sports, I must say. So what are your thoughts on the Vikings game?
Yeah, I mean, look, the offense came back around. It was good to see Jalen finally under center, finally admitting that he should be under center for some of these plays and you know, kind of going along with it. The rumors are and everything you hear is that he fights that and didn't want to do it because he doesn't want to turn his back to the defense. He doesn't feel comfortable, but when you do it, it works, right? It's amazing what happens when play action under center is called. Obviously it works, right? So it was good to see. And you know, I was waiting for like what he did last year after the Steelers game. That's what you all wanted to see, huh? And that's
100%.
I mean, look, near perfect game. I mean, the incompletions weren't really incompletions. I mean, the one was an incompletion that he threw behind AJ before that last play. But the one to Devontae on the sideline, I mean, look, he was throwing dots, man. He was throwing absolute dots, and he showed that he could throw that deep ball. So it's good to see. I think it was good to get that monkey off their back a little bit and show what the offense can really do. I'm still concerned about the run game, though, man.
But do you think a game like that, knowing that, because some of those, and like, I don't know why they don't do it more, but he essentially was just lobbing it up and letting his receivers make plays. Like, should they start doing that more? And if teams are going to start playing not 8 in the box, will that eventually open up the running game? Because I felt like for the first time all season, I did feel like there were a couple times they may have only been 1 block away.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with that. I mean, look, I think the telling sign for me is they played a full game, it seemed like, offensively, right? They didn't really struggle the whole game or like struggle in the first half and then turn it on in the second half. They were pretty consistent all game, right? Like not 4 consecutive 3-and-outs. They had a couple 3-and-outs, extended drives, things like that. So that was what was encouraging to me. But the thing that is kind of concerning and is eye-opening to me is the fact that in the first quarter, Saquon is averaging like 5 yards a carry. And then it dramatically goes down as the game goes more, right? As the game gets longer. And last year, it was almost the opposite, right? They would beat you down, and then in the fourth quarter, when you needed to run out a game, you did that with Saquon, and he'd break one, right? I don't think that – I think that's the struggle right now for me is the fact that they have to throw it in the fourth quarter to ice a game as opposed to last year when they could just run it down your throats, and that was it, you know?
Well, even the announcers said before he threw the last pass to AJ, they're like, they can't pass it here, can they? Like, or maybe I was listening on Crossing Broad. They had like how it sounded on Vikings radio, and it was the Vikings guys were saying they have to run it here, right? Like they'd be stupid to pass it, and they passed it, and like that was typically where Saquon would break it and then either slide or just take it to the house. But are they giving up on it too soon, or is it more necessity that like, okay, we're getting -2 yards every time we run it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's I don't think they're giving up on it. I think it's just they're going with what's working, which, look, we've talked about that since you and I watched football with this Eagles team. Like if it's working, why go away from it, right? So
True.
I think that's actually what they're doing, right? The passing game was working in that second half, and they just said, screw it, we're just gonna keep doing it. If you're gonna give me that cushion, if Isaiah Rodgers is gonna get burnt like that, if he's gonna get burnt like Keely Ringo out there, let's just keep doing it, you know? And that's exactly what they did. I mean, look, going into that game, we were like, man, it would have been real nice to have Isaiah Rodgers on this team as a corner. After
Well,
that
is
game,
it?
I'm like, yeah, maybe not. Maybe
Yeah,
not. Because
that didn't
a
age
couple of
well.
no, a couple of those plays, man, Devontae just looked at him and went, bye, see ya. I'm running right by you and you're not gonna do anything about it. So it was pretty bad. Now I'm not taking anything away from Devontae, obviously. We love the
No,
Slim Reaper, we love how fast he is, but there wasn't anything Jerry Rice-esque about those routes. Some of those were just, I'm
just
running right by you, and nothing you can do about it. So,
but we've talked about that all season. That's there for both him and AJ every
mhm.
single play if they want it.
Yep. Yeah, and look, shout out to Devontae for going to the other players on the sideline, talking about it at halftime and saying, "Look, if they're playing this defense, that over the top is there. Let's call it and let's make it happen."
Right.
They called it. 75-yard touchdown pass. I mean, shout out to him. That football IQ is something that I don't think we talk enough about with Devontae Smith. Not only is he such a tough player, smallest, like skinniest player on the field by far. I think the it says 175. He ain't
No
175.
chance.
I would bet you money he's not 175 pounds. Maybe with the pads and helmet on, he's 175 pounds.
Right.
Not without it, right? So, but there's nobody tougher. He took some shots, he took some hits, and he just keeps getting back up. But his football IQ is just like it's. We always talk about it with like baseball IQ, basketball IQ, court awareness. Like his football IQ is just through the moon, man.
Yes.
Like, and he's the. It's good to have Cooper DeJean on defense with that football IQ, and Devontae Smith on offense with that same football IQ, man. He's just. I'm
Right.
glad
Well,
he's on our team.
so does, and I keep going back and forth on this. We've been tough. Everybody's been tough on Kevin Petula. Does he maybe deserve some credit for adapting and saying, "Hey, okay, Devontae, if you think it's there, I'm going to call it," or is that one of the plays that Jalen's audibling to, or is it a combination of it all? Like, I mean, like I said, we get on him a lot, but does he deserve a little bit of credit for that?
Yeah, I mean, I think he does. I think what he deserves the credit for is having an open mind to listen to the players because Nick Sirianni preaches that culture, and it's worked over the last few years. Where if the players come to you with an idea, try it out, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But
Right.
Nick has that mentality of you guys are out there running the plays. If you have that idea and you think it'll work, let's try it. So maybe he does have that open mind, like Nick, and they decide to do it. I also think that I think there's a lot at play there, and I think the rumors of what you're hearing about Jalen not feeling comfortable under center with turning his back to the defense. I think there's truth to that because a lot of former quarterbacks this week have said, yeah, it is uncomfortable when you have to turn your back to the defense on those play action passes, right? But the bottom line is it works. It works, especially when you have a quarterback like Jalen Hurts that is a threat with his legs too. So, you know, kudos to them for figuring it out, and hopefully that continues. What do you think?
I mean, I'm hesitant to go. Like, there were people out here this week saying, "Oh, he's a genius. We were too hard on him. I've been telling you this the whole time." I'm not going to go that far,
Yeah,
but I mean,
yeah,
I do think I like the fact that it's more. I mean, I don't know if Jahan Dotson comes in and says, "Hey, this is here." If he's going to be like,
right,
"Okay, let's throw it to Jahan Dotson," but I
right.
think there's something to be said about your star players, your best players going to the coach, and then you having trust in them to do it. So, like, I just feel we need to give Patula a little bit of credit because everybody's been hard on him. I'm not ready to say it's the greatest offensive coordinator ever.
No,
Uh, I want to see it again. Like I want to see it consistently now because we've seen glimpses like okay, this is like the shovel pass to Dallas. I think it was
Dallas,
in the
yeah,
last Giants game. Like there are some creative plays in there, but I want to see it and need to see it consistently before I'm like, hey,
yeah.
yes, this is the real deal. Now,
Well,
can we be saying this about him next week? If I see the same things and the same consistency in the play calling, absolutely.
yeah, I mean, look, it's I think, you'll agree to this. It's as a fan, it's human nature where you're gonna take the side of your players and the person you have that relation, you feel relatability, you feel like a connection with the players and not the coaches usually, right? So like
Right.
I I don't feel like I know Kevin Patullo, but I feel like I know Jalen Hurts and I know AJ Brown and like I feel like I could chop it up with Landon Dickerson and Lane Johnson and Mailata. So like I feel I'm gonna believe and take their side over things and, like, fit that narrative more than if the OC comes out and says, "Well, I'm calling the plays, they're just not executing." Like, it's not a good look if and I'm not saying that he did that, I'm just saying, like, I feel like as a
No.
fan, we're gonna take the player's side more than the coaches anyway, 99.9% of the time, right? So, I think that's human nature to do that, but yeah, I agree with you, like, I'm not ready to crown him, as Dennis Green would say, but at the same time, I'm glad that they made adjustments and they learned from it, and hopefully they continue to learn. Because what did Jalen? What's one of his cliches? You don't lose, you learn. So
Yes.
the two losses, they didn't lose, they learned. Well,
They
the
learned.
Giants, the Giants, they got their asses handed to them. Let's not
Right. We'll get more into
sugarcoat it.
that later, but yeah. Punched
So
in the
I
face.
I did want to throw this out there to you and get your take on this. I do think it was a great win last week. Having said that, I don't want to get carried away because if Wentz didn't Wentz, I think they lose that game,
No,
right?
I
Or there's a good chance they
100%.
do.
And I mean, that's what I wanted to talk about. Like, I don't even think that it was a bend but don't break kind of defense. I think it was more they were opportunistic. Carson Wentz gave them a couple opportunities, and to their credit, they took advantage of them. But
Right.
I mean, some of those passes, like it made me realize why it was so easy for Howie to be like, I just gave you this ridiculous contract. I'm trading you.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, he's the and I don't want to knock him because, we gave him his flowers last week for his 2017 and all that stuff, but like he's the Timu Brett Favre. Like he's the Timu
That's a
gunslinger.
great yes.
You know what I mean? Like he has he does have talent. He has a hell of an arm. He's athletic, but he tries so hard to make a play happen instead of taking what the defense gives him. And that's what we used to hate about it, right? Like I love that he can make those plays, but he's like a 300 hitter making those plays. He's getting out 7 times.
Right.
And in football, that's not good. You know what I mean?
No,
Like
because
baseball, you're a Hall of Famer.
I mean the throw the I mean the I still don't think it was a catch, but the throw he threw to
Hawkinson in the
oh,
end zone.
Hawkinson. I was gonna say I have him.
Yeah.
He's my tight end in every fantasy league. That was a
Yeah.
perfect throw, and that's what he's capable of. But then the throw that, not even the interception that was returned for a touchdown, the one that he threw from the end zone that was literally like the Brett Favre pass from
Yeah.
the 4th and 26 game. He
Yeah.
does that too often, and
Yeah.
I mean you can't do that. I wish Jalen did have a little bit more, and maybe that's part of why Jalen is so cautious is because he was his understudy for a season. I don't know. It's like
Maybe.
a big connection to try to make there. But I just feel like if he could take a little bit of that and put it in Jalen, not a lot, just like a pinch, I think it would be great to see Jalen try to attempt those throws.
So two things, right? So first of all, before I get back to the Jalen comment, can we talk about Hawkinson and his stupid comment after the game? Like I don't know what a catch is, and New York shouldn't be able to call and overrule a catch when all the refs on the field. Yes, they should. That's the point of it.
Right.
Like that's the whole point,
I mean,
and it
and
wasn't a
I-
catch.
it was obvious that the ball was loose after he hit the
His
ground.
both hands came off the ball. Like
Right.
everybody saw it. That's why New York was able to make that call. And like I don't know if that's a coaching thing where you got to explain to your players how instant replay works or a coach's challenge works, but that that is 100% what New York does in those situations. They call
Right.
in and help
And
them because the refs don't see that angle live, you know?
no, and their coach should have challenged the Devontae Smith catch. Like,
100%.
that's the one he brought up, and I'm like, that may probably would have been overturned as well, but your coach didn't throw the flag.
Yeah, he just sounded like sour grapes. He sounded like a sore loser type thing. And like, look, it is what it is. I get it after another sore loser, and we'll get into him in a minute, was Justin Jefferson's comments about Coop. But back to
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts. I think Jalen Hurts is cautious because of what he did 2 years ago when he had all the turnovers and they were
True.
losing, right? So he doesn't like losing. He knows that when he's over compensating and trying to thread the needle way too much, it gets them into trouble and they throw interceptions where they turn the ball over. So he now learned to take what the defense gives you, all that stuff. And he look, at the end of the day, it's frustrating for us, especially at the end of the first half when they just all of a sudden give up. It's conservative, right? And they go for it on fourth down an awful lot. Um, and it just is a little disheartening as a fan to sometimes realize that they're not really they don't really have balls of steel like that. They're pretty conservative as a
They
coach
are.
quarterback combo, you know? And you don't think about it because of how much they go for it on fourth down a lot. But in those other situations, yeah, they're just gonna take their ball and go into halftime and then that's it, you know. Meanwhile, you see Patrick Mahomes, if he's on his own 20 with 13 seconds left, he's like, yeah, I'm gonna sling it and
That's
still
plenty
try
of
to get a
time.
field goal. Yeah. And I'm like, I wish that we could do that. And it's not that I don't think that Jalen is capable of doing that. I just think they don't want to put the ball in harm's way and they're content with doing what they do, you know?
But, do you think if they keep moving the ball and I mean, obviously, a lot of it's gonna be dependent on if they can actually establish the running game, but do you think as the season progresses and the offense starts clicking, you might see that more? Or is it just 'cause I feel like Sirianni wants to do it.
I think
Like
he does. So I think a lot of it goes into who wins the coin toss too, and if the Eagles defer to the second half. Because if he knows he's getting that ball after halftime,
yeah,
I think that's another thing that plays into it. Like, why risk it? But at the same time, you got Andy Reid on the Chiefs. That's like, I get the ball after halftime. Why not try to
that's
double up
why
and at
I'm
least get
risking it.
point? Exactly. So I see it from both ends, and I think us as Eagles fans having Andy Reid always try to do that and always try to get those points before halftime. When he was here now seeing him still do that with the Chiefs, there's part of us that are like, I kind of wish we would do that a little more,
Right.
you know, because we
Again,
do
just
have the
sprinkle a little
explosiveness.
Andy.
Yeah, I mean, we have that explosiveness on the team, as you said. So, like, I don't see why we can't, but I get it. I see it from both sides. And look, their track record of winning, I guess we can't really argue with it, right?
No, not at all. So what
So,
about the defense? I mean, I I feel like we talk about this every week, but it doesn't help when Adoree Jackson gets knocked out. Wha
uh,
d
I mean, I don't understand why Keely Ringo is still on the team. Um, I know I will say kudos to Vic, kudos to the rest of the defense, the other 10 guys, fighting through it and masking it as much as they could. I will say the defense continues to fight through injuries very well. It was great to see N'Kobe Dean out there. It was great.
Absolutely. I was
Loved seeing that dynamic between, N'Kobe Dean, Jahai Campbell, and Zach Vaughn. I'm anxious to see how that kind of plays in now that the big return of BG on the edge. Is Campbell still going to play the edge? What's going to happen when Nolan Smith comes back? And I think we all can agree to this in life and in sports. It's never a bad thing when you have so much talent, right?
no,
So when these guys come back from all in the injured list, that's a good situation to be in where you have so many good players, you can piece them together and do what you need to do. So
and they're
I,
gonna
I
be
just
fresh, and you're gonna need that
correct.
if your guys are gonna be out there because your cornerback 2 can't stop anybody.
Yeah, and I think look, we've been saying it since training camp that guy, cornerback two spot, who's going to be that guy, who's going to be that guy. As of right now, nobody. Um, and look, I don't want to throw things out there, but the receiver that they had in training camp that everybody liked, Darius Cooper, I think his name was.
Yes. Hmm.
They just, I think he's either back on the practice squad or he's signed to the active roster, something like that. If he's not going to play as a receiver, you think he could possibly play as a cornerback?
I
Why
mean,
not at this
what do
point?
they always say about cornerbacks? It's usually receivers who can't
That
catch.
can't catch, right? They know the routes. They have that technique. They have the footwork. So at this point, until Jacorian Bennett gets off the injury list, I'd be willing to try anybody out there. But
But
I
Vic
just
doesn't seem too high on him though,
I
for
know,
whatever
and because
reason.
I don't think I don't think he gets the scheme, right? So I think it's another. I don't think it's as bad as Huff last year, but I think it's pretty close. Um, the other thing that's causing an issue, Makuba is so good against the run, so good, right? He's almost like another linebacker out there against the run, but he can't cover to save his life right now.
No.
So now, is that something you can teach? Sure, because he seems like he's that athletic and everything. But like what he was able to do in college, again, now going up against professionals, like he's getting, you're seeing it. He's getting like fully just, it's transparent as day that he can't cover some of these guys. Now, look, is every team going to have wide receivers like Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson? No, I
No.
get that. But still, you got to be able to cover a little bit better than what he's been doing.
Right. But even average receivers with a good quarterback's going to make the throws that Carson didn't last week.
Correct. He's going to eat that up for sure. And, speaking of throws, he made a great throw to Justin Jefferson in that corner of the end zone. And Cooper DeJean just doing what him and Q do. They get hands in at the last second to knock balls out in the end zone. And, Justin Jefferson saying, no, that was on me. I should have caught that. It had nothing to do with him. Bullshit.
Right.
Absolute bullshit. That was
No, you should have
100%
caught
Cooper.
that.
He
But
should have,
Cooper
but
made
you
one
can't.
hell of a play.
100%, 100%. And I think that was more 50-50 than just being all on him and not with Coop. I mean, Coop, how good is Coop?
He played that perfectly.
100%. And I think he may be the best pure tackler I think the Eagles have had in my lifetime.
And you might be right. The only one that comes close would maybe be a guy like Seth Joyner.
Yeah.
Maybe Brian Dawkins, but I think Brian Dawkins was more of a risk-taking tackler than a
I think
pure,
Michael
like, this is
Lewis,
good
I,
form.
I think
But
Michael
yeah,
Lewis was a much better tackler than Dawk. Dawk was a better hitter, but like to your point, he would crush you, but he wouldn't always wrap up. I feel like Michael Lewis was like the Cooper type of he's always going to wrap your legs up. You're not going anywhere. So whether he's
yeah,
taking you to the ground or it's going to be a gang tackle with five other guys, you're caught. But like
right.
his fundamentals are just it's insane. Whether it's a tight end, whether it's a running back, or whether it's a receiver, man, he's just open field tackles. I think he had one missed tackle, which missed tackles are going to happen, but
It
like
happens.
hardly ever do you see him missing a tackle and a guy getting 30 yards after that, you know?
But and you talked about Devontae and his football IQ. I think Coop has good football IQ because even if he is out of position or makes a mistake, he's able to, whether it's running on the right angle, like he's able to recover and make up for it. So even when he does make a mistake, it's not like Keely Ringo running around in circles. Like he's
It's
going to
the little
recover and
stuff.
make the play. Hmm.
Yeah, 100%. It's the little stuff, right? So like seeing him, tap his helmet or tap his right leg to let the safety know I'm turning him inside, so you need to have outside coverage. Like stuff like that. You don't see that all the time. Like you might because there may be like verbal communication, but like when it's loud in a dome like that and you need to have that nonverbal communication, like he was one of the only ones on the field doing that for that defense. So like seeing him float around and he's like another linebacker out there too
Yeah,
sometimes. So like it's just I can't say enough about him, man. I'm glad he's on our team. I'm glad that they were able to steal him in the draft.
I would total
And
steal.
100%. He should have been a first round pick. He should have been a first round pick.
Yeah.
Um, but I watched Iowa play the other day, and I'll tell you what, man, they're a white boy factory in Iowa. Like it's insane to see like their running back right now looks like mini Cooper DeJean. Like it looks like another Cooper DeJean back there uh playing linebacker, being a running back and returning kicks. I'm like, what are we doing? Like you can't
It's
like you
that
have
farm
all
life,
this,
man.
but like all that and you still can't get a quarterback? Like you can't get anything else and like all you are is a defensive school? Like your offense is shitty all the time. Like it's been like that for 30 years.
Yeah. It's that farm boy strength, man. We talked about John Hawk on the podcast the other night. They got that John Hawk strength.
It's crazy, man. But like now, I heard Cooper DeJean's brother's going to Iowa, and he's like 6'5". He's going to be a tight end. Wouldn't mind seeing him come to the Birds at some
No?
point too, because the rumor is he's much more athletic than Coop. And I'm like, you saw those
Is that
videos of
it?
Coop playing basketball and everything. I'm like, how is that possible?
Yeah. Oh, I'll take it.
Yeah,
One last thing about the game before we start moving on. You mentioned the hand signals, and for all of the drama and the rumors and everything that was talked about last week, before that bomb to AJ, what did you say?
pointed to him.
Yep.
Yep,
And
he
just did
pointed to
something
him.
with his fingers.
So what they did, they broke that down, and I heard it was either Jaws or it was Baldy said that that was basically Jalen Hurts baiting Isaiah Rodgers. So he was basically pointing to AJ, telling him if this cornerback blitzes from this side or the linebacker blitzes from this side, AJ, you're the hot route. So he pointed to him. So Isaiah Rodgers was creeping up, thinking that it was going to be the slant, and that's when AJ ran the sluggo. He stopped for a brief second, ran deep, and that's why he had him burnt by like 8
Gone.
yards. And
Yeah.
it was impressive, man. And like that's that another thing, the football IQ of Jalen. Like that's that stuff that like nobody when you think of the top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL and Jalen's never on that list. I don't know anybody else that's making a play like that and making that nonverbal communication.
Especially with somebody who he doesn't get along with and they don't like each other anymore.
Yeah, yeah. So they're just thinking about the what is it the collective. We're just
The
thinking about the
collective.
collective. Yep.
All right. So I guess you mentioned it a little bit earlier. Excuse me. The big news of the week: Brandon Graham is back.
Love it.
Already talking trash.
Love it. Love it. Love it. We
Oh,
needed it. We
100%.
needed it. We needed it.
And
And
so go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say, like, I this is like when I was, you and I talked about this the other day with when the Dodgers got Shohei Ohtani to start pitching after in like August, and it's like that's your trade deadline move. You got an all-star pitcher in Shohei Ohtani. Well, this is like if we don't do anything else at the trade deadline, which we'll get into next week, but I think they will. But if you don't, you still get a guy that's going to give you probably 15 snaps a game. But from a locker room perspective and a leadership perspective, you can't get much better than BG.
No. I mean, even the energy for those 15 snaps on the field. Like I went down a rabbit hole after they signed him, and like there's so many clips on YouTube. The Eagles have posted them on TikTok. Just the amount of trash. Like it starts at the coin toss and it doesn't stop. Like apparently right before the Saturday, he was out at Michigan he was the honorary captain for the Michigan Washington game, and he was talking trash to the guy on Washington, the kid who was calling the coin toss. He was like, "Oh man, it's never heads, man. It's never heads." Like that's just the way he is. And I think these young guys, especially the guys like Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter, who played with him, are going to get onto that. But I'm anxious to see what he's able to do with Jahad Campbell and just kind of turn that like kind of harness what he has and just kind of get him in the right mindset.
Oh, and just wait till Nolan Smith comes back because he was bragging on Nolan Smith at the end of last year and like how much
Yeah.
he has in the tank and how good how like he's probably the strongest player he's ever played with, like just pure force when he's driving the like off the snap and everything. So like I just I think it's going to bring a leadership. And I don't know if you saw the when they asked Jalen Hurts about it at his press conference, whether it was Monday or something. They were like, "What do you think about BG coming back?" And he just smiled, laughed, and got up because he knows what's coming,
Yeah.
right? Like he knows, and nobody can control it. I don't think anybody's gonna like reel it in, and nobody wants to reel it in at this point. Like they
Well, nor
need that.
should they. Nor should they.
No, no, that's the swagger that you bring to this team that offsets the Jalen and Saquon like humbleness and maturity type thing. Like I'm not saying BG is not mature because I he is, and I get that he's 37 too, which helps. But at the same time, he's gonna get in your face.
He
He's
knows what
gonna
he's
he's
done.
gonna oh he's gonna talk a lot of shit right to you, and I love every
You
second of
must not know Jalen Hurts like I know Jalen Hurts.
it, dude. I he's gonna like imagine he gets a hit on Jackson Dart on Sunday. Like I don't even know how much he's gonna play, if he's gonna play, but he was a full participant in practice today. So
I th- I mean, I think they're not going to have any other choice but to have him play. And
yeah, because I don't
Vic
think
even said,
Jalari or whatever his name is gonna play.
right, Jomo, I think, was a limited participant thanks to the hit he took from Keely Ringo. But
It's unreal. It's unreal. I just
it's the
don't I don't get it.
best hit I've ever seen Keely Ringo have, and it was
Yeah,
on Moro
and he
Jomo.
almost he almost wrapped him up too. I was like, man, if you can only tackle and hit like that against the other team, we'd be in business.
Maybe they just need to do like the Water Boy and just have him visualize it's his own teammate. Just
But look, back to BG vibes, right? The leadership vibes, the edge rush that we obviously desperately need, and best game to come back on is a division rival with wearing Kelly Green. It's a no
especially in a
brainer.
revenge game. Like I said,
No
even if
brainer.
he plays 10, 15 snaps, I think he'll be fine. But Vic even said he compared it to, it was very similar. He was like, now he said he was working out. I saw him here at the complex sometimes. But when he was in Chicago and they traded for Khalil Mack,
Hmm.
and he was like, well, the powers that be, or whatever he called him, said he was on a pitch count of like 22 to 25 snaps. I ended up playing him 45, and then he just smiled, and that
Yeah.
was kind of it. So
Yep.
I mean, I think if BG is feeling good, I mean, I don't think there's I don't think there's any doubt that he's going to suit up and be on the field. Whether or not that's for 10, 20, whatever, but I don't think once he's in the game flow, Vic's going to be like, sorry, you've had too many snaps now.
It may be third down only, right? He may just be a
Right.
pass rusher for the day, but that's still fresh legs coming off in it's week 8, right? So like I know we're not in week 16, but we're in week 8. So like offensive linemen and the line for the Giants has been banged up all season. So you get a guy coming off the edge with fresh legs, anything can happen. Anything can happen. It'll
Right.
be
No,
interesting, man.
and
I'm looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to it. Um, and then of course the other news, it seems like we talk about cornerback 2 every week, and then we talk about AJ Brown. What do you make of his? And I mean, I guess because he hasn't been practicing, he hasn't had to talk to the media, but you know what it's going to come to. But what's going on with all that?
Look, that leads me straight into my 2 cents. So I'm just gonna give you my 2 cents this week, and my 2 cents is on AJ Brown. And AJ, I don't know if you ever listen to this podcast. I hope you do, so we can talk some sense into you. But AJ, get your shit together, right? Stop the dumb stuff. Stop the cryptic tweets. Nobody has time for cryptic tweets. If you have a problem with somebody, be a man, come to them, or say, even if you said it in the media and called them out in the media, I'd have more respect for you than these cryptic tweets that you'll tweet. And then when you talk to the media, you'd be like, nah, that was all you guys. What I meant by it was this. And it's like, stop being so vague and leaving it open for interpretation because you
Right.
know that's what the media is going to do anyway. So now you got national media out there going, I think all he wants is to really get traded. So none of this is going to be settled until AJ Brown finally gets traded. It's like, you mean to tell me you got a Super Bowl winning wide receiver on a still Super Bowl contending team and he wants to be traded? Makes no sense, right? Logically, it makes no sense. His best years have come with Jalen Hurts throwing him the ball. So, as much as people want to say, "Oh, he needs a great quarterback," and they should trade Jalen Hurts and keep AJ Brown. What?
No,
What?
that's
Number one,
yeah.
they're not trading either one of them. They're not trading either one of them, especially in season. They're not trading either one of them. So get that out of your mind. They're not trading Jalen Hurts. It's not going to happen. I just think there may be more there than what we'll ever know, right? There may be more going on between them. Obviously, there is. BG alluded to it last year that there was something that happened personally between those two, and they were trying to get it straightened out, at least for the betterment of the team. And it looked like it worked last year, but like
It did.
he threw 2 touchdowns to AJ. I think last year you would have saw them doing a dance in the end zone or something. You didn't even see them really
That
talk to each
one went
other.
this way, one went that way. Yep.
So, and look, I could care less as a fan as long as you continue to put the production up and we win. And I don't
Right.
think Jalen gives a shit one way or the other. I think he's like, you know what, wins are better. I'm worried about the wins. I'm worried about the collective, as he likes to say, right?
Right. Well, I
So,
mean, look at it like this. His mentor is Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan hated half of his teammates, talked shit on half of his teammates, but when it came time, he still trusted those guys like Jalen Hurts does to make a play. So,
yep.
and I think AJ, he's too smart for that. I mean, he has a communications degree, so he knows exactly what's going to happen.
Well, and he knows what he's doing with these tweets and with his nonverbal communication. Just like last year with the book, he knows what he's doing. Like he's not dumb. He's a very smart guy. Like I get it, like and look, when you're paid like a superstar, but you're not performing like a superstar, and you're not performing like a superstar is out of your control, is what his mentality is, right? It's not like
Right.
basketball where I'm shooting 10% from 3-point land. That's on me. That's not on my teammates. I'm a wide receiver. I'm a stud wide receiver, Super Bowl wide receiver, and like a superstar. The quarterback's not throwing me the ball, so I can't show my skills and do that. So I get it from that perspective. But
Right.
Saquon's not getting 2,000 yards this year, but he's still the greatest teammate you could ever ask for.
Yeah. And I mean, like I said, I get, especially early in the season, being frustrated, but why now? Like, especially in a game that you had a good game. Like, you could have had 3 touchdowns if you just fell to kind of run out the clock. Like that, the timing of it, I think, in this case, was he jealous because Devontae got all the catches and yards?
But he still had 2 touchdowns in 120,
Right.
right? So
No,
like
that's what I mean.
I don't think that's. Hopefully, that's not the case because that's just a dumb thing. I look. This is probably like a touchy subject, but like I equate the AJ Brown scenario as like either a drunk or like a drug addict type thing, right? Where like it's wrong and you shouldn't do it, but you fall back into it and like you find yourself doing it again, even though you know it's wrong. So like I don't think I think he understands that putting out these cryptic tweets, what it's gonna do and how it's gonna cause the media to be in a frenzy, but I think he can't help himself, right? I think
Right.
that's kind of what the problem is. He gets so in his own head sometimes that he's like, yeah, it would be good. And it's literally if you look at the timestamp of it, it's not short. Like it's shortly after the goddamn game's done. Like, what are you doing in the locker room?
I was
Like
gonna
your
say,
first
like, it
instinct.
has to be the locker room, not
Ah,
even when he gets home and has time to think about it, or even
right,
like, all
right,
right, I'm gonna go home and have a drink, and then you have one too many, and then you're firing
right.
off. He's like
It's literally
maybe in
like,
his car.
yes, if that, right? And I don't know. And like I thought about this too. Do you institute a no social media policy for your players? I mean, you're paying them millions of dollars, and look, it's you're a teacher, right? You do this stuff, and like you've worked in places before where you have a corporate social media policy. Is there
We
a
have
social
one, yeah,
media right? Is there a social media policy for the Eagles? Maybe not. And if there is, maybe it should be a little stricter. I don't know, right?
yeah.
And can you do that with $1 million athletes? I don't know, but like if you're gonna run the NFL like a business, you should be able to do that as you may. It's similar to how the Yankees for all those years got away with no facial hair type thing. Like it's your organization, you run it how you want.
No, and I mean, but the NFL will never do that because they rely too much on social media for various things.
Oh,
So, but it's
the national media and the NFL love this right now because it gives them something to talk about. Gives them
yeah,
something else to talk
Diana
about.
Rossini has something to talk about now.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, look, they hopefully AJ, calms down this week because look, I think the national media is going to have enough to talk about with the NBA stuff. So, you know,
Yeah.
just saying,
Unless it's just going to make him up his game this week,
yeah,
so he
yeah.
brings the
I got to
attention
do
back.
something else. Yeah. Oh man, but yeah, shout out to Chauncey Billups. I guess playing poker was a little bit more important than some other things. I don't know.
Dude, I don't want to get too much into that, but I saw like the picture of the cards. I'm like, I didn't even know like I'm never playing poker with anybody ever again.
No,
Or anybody that's wearing sunglasses. I'm like, no, I'm not playing with a guy wearing
nope,
sunglasses anymore.
nope, nope, nope. If I can't see your eyes, I'm not playing. I'm not playing. I think I might just stick to video poker at this point. Just call it a
Right.
day.
Well, what could go wrong there?
Yeah, yeah. It's unreal. It's
All
unreal.
right. So before we get into the Giants, let's recap last week. Two in a row.
There you
Two in
go.
a row.
Listen, I gotta
Brings
give
it
you
to
a little
two,
bit.
4-1.
If you win this week, look out for some cryptic tweets from me on Twitter. Start some
Hey
drama.
man, channel your inner excellence.
Hey, all day. Hey, I have the audiobook, by the way. I have listened to it. It's actually a pretty good
I
book.
have too. It
Yeah, it's a
really
pretty
is.
good book.
So I like
Yeah.
it. But we both had the Eagles winning. Neither of us got the player of the game. Saquon did not do it. I did have the AJ anytime touchdown. You had Jalen with 2. Defense, I was so close. I still think the intentional grounding, and I know the NFL does not count it as a sack. That should count as a sack too. Like that should have been, because it would have been a sack if,
Yeah, I mean,
and then
it
Carson,
all
I
signs
didn't throw it.
all signs point to it that it should for the simple fact that like they penalize it like it's a sack, lost it down, everything. I mean,
Right.
I don't know.
Kicking game was not too hot. Braden Mann, I don't think, had his best game. Jake Elliott missed a field goal. The defense did force 2 turnovers for me.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did.
And
Well,
then,
did they force them or did Carson just kind of give them? But either
hey,
way,
the stat sheet said the Eagles
stat
had 2
sheet says two.
turnovers.
Yes. Yep. Yep. You know what the intentional grounding thing is like the blocked field goal, right? Where it
Yeah,
doesn't count as a turnover, it
a
doesn't count as
turnover on,
whatever
right,
turnover on downs. Yeah. So it's weird. It's weird how they do that.
whatever.
But
I'll
congrats.
take it though.
Congrats. Yeah, congrats.
2, 4-1. We're climbing out of the cellar.
There you go. You got the same record as the Cowboys. No, just kidding. Just kidding. They're three. What are they? 2, 3-1 or something like
Yeah, I'm close. Maybe after this week, I'll have the same record.
that. We'll see. We'll
All
see.
right, so revenge game and Kelly Green game at the link. Hasn't been a good couple weeks until last week for the Eagles, so crowd's going to be fired up. Like the
Yeah.
crowd, even for a 1 o'clock game, is going to be fired up for this one.
Yep. Yep. They're going to be fired up. As you and I were talking about before we started, typically the Eagles alternate who gets announced, offense, defense, all that fun stuff. They try to at least. Denver game, they announced a defense. I think they announced a defense again. Kelly Green, BG gets announced last. Crowd's going to erupt. That's probably going to be the loudest we'll hear that stadium since the NFC Championship game, right? It's probably going to be,
100%. And
and it's worth it. It's worth it.
no, and I mean, I think it's a no-brainer. Like, there's no reason not to introduce Brandon Graham last, and I don't think anybody else on that defense is going to care. I, in fact, they probably are encouraging it, and
They would
the
probably
way
say
Jalen and
the only one that you should announce on the defense, just announce Brandon Graham by himself.
right
Just announce the Eagles and then say making his return, do something like that. The crowd will still be as loud as we'll probably ever hear it because of that. It's going to erupt. It's going to go crazy. It's going to be the same as when Dawkins comes out. Anytime Dawkins comes out, it's going to be the exact same thing.
to this
BG's
day.
a legend. Yeah, BG's a legend.
Yeah,
And to bring them out on a revenge game, a divisional game like that, it's a no-brainer for them to do it, and the Eagles typically hit home runs when it comes to stuff like this. I don't see this being any
Yeah,
different.
I no, I think they'll do that. But I mean, I think to me, it comes down to you got to play better than you did the last time. I mean, you you let those two dudes just run all over you. I think, and I forget, I think it was on WIP. They asked Sirianni about do they use it as motivation, the fact that Scatterboo was doing backflips and things like that. And he was like, sometimes, but if you can't get up for a divisional game, what are you even doing? I kind of took that as he's going to be somehow they've talked about this. Like these guys are
100%.
rookies.
Yep.
These guys disrespected you. Don't let them come into your house and disrespect you here.
Yep. Yep. And look, I mean, not taking anything away from Jeffrey Dahmer and CTE, man. Because Scatterboo's a dog. Jeffrey Dahmer is, Jeffrey Dahmer. They got swag, and I would love Scatterboo if he was an Eagle. He would be our guy. I would love every second of it because he
Oh, he would
just.
be. He would be.
But like, let's call spade a spade here. I mean, he lowers his helmet on every single play. No fines are levied against Cam Scatterboo. Saquon does it one game and gets 15 grand fined against him. Find
And it was
that
more of a
find that a
shoulder
little.
than anything with Saquon.
Correct. Correct. So he like CTE Scatterboo like leads with his helmet. Like he leads, he puts his helmet straight down. So if
Oh,
he's
it's
not
like
gonna
the
get
old
CTE,
style.
oh, absolutely. And if he doesn't get CTE, he's gonna break his neck doing that against somebody. He's gonna hit the wrong person the wrong way one time. But I mean, look, if they're not using that as fuel, and you can't tell me that defense isn't going to use it as fuel. The
Right.
offense probably doesn't give a crap either way, but the defense is definitely going to use that as fuel, especially having BG back. You don't think he's going to be chirping in their ear the whole time? Whew.
Right. This dude's doing backflips, man. This dude's doing
Right,
backflips.
right. You're going to let them come and disrespect? Oh man, he's going to get them so fired up that they may punch BG. Like they might get so pissed off. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I look for
No,
Jalen Carter to have a big game. He's gonna knock somebody on their ass for sure.
yeah. No, I agree. I mean, because we just talked about this 2 weeks ago. I mean, I think it still remains the same. Like you're a better team than this team. Like don't screw around like you did in New York. Like they look like they never got off the bus, and it was just whatever.
Yeah,
Giants are though they're gonna be ready for a division game, thinking the oh well we got the only thing I think working in the Eagles' favor is the fact that the way the Giants lost last week.
yep.
Like,
No
and
lead is
I'll talk
safe.
more about that. Yeah, and I'll talk about that when I get into the keys. But, um, like they can't, like they just got to go out there and just say, "Listen, we're the defending champs. You guys are rookies. Brian Dable sucks. You're Jeffrey Dahmer. You're CTE man, and we're better
Yeah,
than you."
100%. That's exactly what they need to do. They need to play Eagles football, and they need to be the aggressor. They need to come out and smack them in the face. That's it. That's it.
Right. So, I mean, if you don't mind, I'll get right into my keys of the game because that's a perfect time. First key to the game, you got punched in the mouth up in New York, and then you didn't do anything, and they continued to punch you. And I made the analogy of Rocky 3 when Clubber Lang beat the crap out of Rocky in the first fight. You need to come out, punch them in the face because they're probably still somewhere in the back of their mind that Denver game is still going to be there. Take advantage of it early, punch them in the mouth. What
Yep.
does Apollo say? No pain, no
Yep.
pain, no
Yep.
pain. You ain't so
Yep.
big, and
Yep.
just go out, punch them in the mouth, and just impose your will. And like, don't let up. Punch them in the mouth and keep coming. Get an early knockout.
Yep.
Um,
Like it.
Second, which it's kind of funny. But by the same token, because it's a Kelly Green game, because it's a revenge game, because you're coming back home, because you're thinking of all this stuff, keep your emotions in check. Do it under control. I don't need Jalen Carter spitting on somebody and getting knocked out or kicked out in the first game or first before the first series. Keep the
Yeah.
emotions
Yeah.
in check. Come out emotional, but keep them under control and do it in a controlled fashion and just let your talent pave the way for you. And then third key is just keep the offense rolling the way it is, and hopefully get the running game going. But if they're gonna sell out to stop Saquon, take advantage of their corners because their
Yep.
corners are not good.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. So, my first key is ignore the drama, right? Ignore all this drama this week with the whole AJ stuff, whether he plays or he doesn't play, irregardless. Ignore the drama, come out, you know, as Jalen always likes to say, keep the main thing the main thing. So whatever the game
Yep.
plan is, stick to the game plan, do what you need to do. Don't force the ball like what they fell into the trap before, forcing the ball to make people happy. Do what you need to do, take what the defense gives you, and you'll be fine, right?
Yep.
Um, Next key is the offensive line. I need to see better, more consistent play from the offensive line. Um, I know everybody said that the offensive line protected well in pass protection. Okay, sure. I I saw a lot of Jalen scrambling too, so I don't know
Yes.
if that was protection designed or if it was just blown. I don't know, but like I saw him scrambling a lot. So if that was the best that they did all year, they need to do better. So
Yep.
I'd like to see them come out. I know Jurgens is probably going to be out. That means so. I do got to throw this out there. We've always called him Brett Toth. Apparently, it's Toth. It's
Yeah.
Brett Toth. So I
I
think
heard that this
everybody's
week.
called him Brett Toth, but I heard Sirianni say it, and then I heard Jason Kelsey say it again. So I'm like, man, nobody on WIP, nobody on ESPN, nobody knows that it's Brett Toth, right? So just wanted to throw that out there. So with Toth playing center, where's Kendall? Where's the draft pick Kendall? Right, Drew Kendall.
He,
Where's he
he
at? Is he
I
going to
th-
play at all
I th-
ever?
I think he was on the IR, so I think his
Okay,
practice window is like he's in that like
it's
he
open.
was
The
put on
21-day
around.
window.
Yeah, I don't know if they opened it, but he's
Okay,
within the frame where he can start practicing. All those
okay,
guys are in within that window now, with the exception of Smith, um, and who was the other guy? Because Bennett started practicing and could play this
okay.
week. Who's the other guy we have on IR? Oh, the dude that they traded that was injured, they got from the Rams, which should be a good
Oh, yeah,
help
yeah,
once he's
yeah,
back too.
yeah,
Like I think him and Nolan Smith are opening up next week during the bye week, so they should be able to come back
yeah.
week
They
9 then,
That's what they said.
or
November.
week
Yeah.
10.
No, yep. Okay. All right. So I'd like to see, and I forgot about Kendall for a while there because we always had that player in waiting on the offensive line that could play multiple different roles and stuff like that. And I think Kendall's that guy. It's just a matter of when he can get in there and get up to game
That's why
speed
they
and all that.
drafted him.
Right, because he can play center, he can play guard, and that's where you need help right now. You need help at center and guard, right? Um, so I will say I think the bye week will help the offensive line. I think it's a well-timed bye week this year for that offensive line. They're going to need that extra week.
Thankfully, yeah.
So yeah. Um, and the third key of the game, man, is just the defense. I think the defense needs to come out, run run emotionally in check, as you said, but also run with that emotion of having BG back there chirping in your ear, giving you that motivation. And I see
Come on, big
that
dog.
defensive I see that defensive line coming out and playing fired up, man. I really do. Like we got our leader back, we got our guy back. Let's go out there and show out for him. And I think they will, right? So I think that's going to be another key. Plus, as you pointed out, you got these rookies doing stuff and acting out that acting like they just won the Super Bowl for their second win of the season, right? Um,
Right.
these guys are going to walk around with a chip on their shoulder. They're going to play with a chip on their shoulder. And I don't know about you, but Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis are scary enough. But to see them play with a chip on their shoulder, I don't want to. I don't want to go against that. I don't want to play against that
No.
at all. So that's my third key to the game is harness that motivation, harness that emotion from having BG back, and just punch them in the face. Punch them in the face, not literally and get ejected like Jalen Carter is known to do, but
I was
you
going to
know,
say you got to be careful with him. He was like,
yeah,
"Okay,
you told me to punch him in the face. Yeah, not
no
literally, but like
pain."
metaphorically punch him in the face. You know what I mean? It's
Nice.
awesome.
All right, who do you got winning?
I got the Birds winning. It's similar to last week. I got it being a little close. I don't see it being a blowout either way. I don't think we're going to get many blowouts this year, to be honest with you. So I got the Birds 24-16 this week. Um, I think it's just they ride the momentum of last week. They play a full, consistent game on offense. Nothing Nothing like a crazy 600-yard game or anything like that. I think it's
Right.
just consistent across the board. They establish drives, they score points, they score them when they need them, and then the defense comes up big in the second half and gets key stops when they need to. I think they play a full, complete game though on offense and defense, and they learn from the ass kicking they got in New York. Or actually, I'm sorry, the ass kicking they got in New Jersey.
New Jersey.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's still going to be close as well. I got a 27-20 Eagles. I think though it's going to be more like a 27-3, 27-7, and then the Giants kind of score late. So I think the Giants come back and backdoor cover, but I think this is going to be more of a dominant. Like I said, there's no way with the emotions and everything going on, and knowing that just 2 weeks ago you punched us in the mouth and kicked our ass. I don't think they're going to come out, and like I said, I think it's going to be a full game for the first time all year.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they show the grit of a champion on this one, and they show what they're made of, and they prove that they're still a championship caliber team, and the Giants are the Giants.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you go into the bye then 6-2. I think. I mean, obviously every season's different and expectations change based on what's happening. But I think beginning of the year, if you said we'll be 6-2 going into the bye, everybody would have
Anybody
been
would have,
like,
yep, yep,
absolutely, I'll take
absolutely,
that.
yeah. Anybody would have taken that, and especially with that first 4 game stretch going into that 4-0. I mean,
Yeah.
coming out of this second quadrant, like you said, the second quarter of the year, and being 6-2, right there in the mix for everything. Absolutely.
And still not playing your best football and having guys set up now after the bye to come. I just think they just are like, all right, we are the Philadelphia Eagles. We
Yep,
forgot, but we're back.
yep, yep. I agree. I agree. Who's your fantasy stars, brother?
I got player of the game, Jalen. I think he's been hot. I think he's just gonna continue to carry it and go. I got him with 3 total touchdowns. I think he finally gets the running touchdown again going. I think Saquon listen, if this is not the week that Saquon gets 100 yards, I'm done. Like I'm not picking it anymore. At some point, he's going to get 100 yards rushing. Hopefully, it's this week. I will not be picking it again if it's not this week. But I think you're going to see when I say a full game, it's going to be more balanced because I think they're going to be able to take advantage of the things the Giants are going to throw at them. And then I finally think late in the game they're able to kind of run it and ice it away. I think the defense is going to be fired up because of BG gets 3 sacks. And this is the other one. If it doesn't happen this game, probably not going to pick it again. But I feel like they're so close to hitting the 3 sacks in a game. I'm going with this. And then Skinny Batman continues to stay hot. He gets his 100 yards without knowing what AJ's status is going to be. So I think that's what we're going to. And I do have a non official bonus one. BG gets a sack.
Oh, there you
One of the
go.
3 sacks is going
All
to be a
right,
BG, but that's unofficial. I'm not going. I'm
all
not
right.
willing to put that out there, but
Well, look,
unofficially,
my fantasy stars are, I got same as you with Jalen and Devontae. I had Jalen with 3 total touchdowns, Devontae with 100 yards and a touchdown. Um, Defense forces 2 turnovers, so I'm going a little different than the sack route. I'm going with them for 2 turnovers, and then Dallas Goddard, 60 yards and a touchdown. Especially if AJ doesn't
I like
play, I
that.
see Dallas Goddard coming up big. Um, he's usually Jalen Hurts guy across the middle. And the last game with the Giants, he had like 6 or 7 catches. So
Yep.
I see him coming up big, and I see them exploiting that linebacker crew again. And I see those little routes over the middle being available. Player of the game, I'm going Cooper DeJean. I think Coop
Coop.
has played very well, and I think he either gets one of the picks, he blitzes and gets a key sack, or he comes up with a huge stop on Scatabo, CTE man on third down or fourth down, or running towards the goal line, something. I just think Coop plays an all around great game and is a defensive stud of the game for sure.
No, I totally could see that. I mean, and listen, I almost went with something with Goddard, but then I got a little bit scared because I knew his calf was a little. I saw him pop up on the injury report, and I'm like,
Yeah,
he should be fine. But
they said that it doesn't look like it's too serious, but it was a little tight on him. So I've been watching him because I got him in a couple fantasy leagues too. So I see all the updates, and I'm like, he's going, he's going, he's going to play. There's no
he's
way
good.
he's going to sit out of this game, especially with the bye week next week.
No, I was going to say, and I think they might push like some of those guys to play because we're not the Eagles pushing them, but those guys will be ready
Yeah,
to go. That's why I think BG is going to play probably more than what we think because then he's going to have a whole extra
week and a half.
rest
Yeah,
period to kind of get ready for week
for
9.
Green Bay. Yep, yep, for Green Bay. That'll be another fun one.
That's right. That's a Monday night football game too, so they have even an
It
extra
is.
day.
Yep, yep. Yeah, that'll be fun on the road like that. So it'll be good to get this game. They need to win this one. I don't think it's must win, but any divisional game is, you never know what to expect in the NFC East. As we
Oh,
know for
totally.
years, right? So you never know what to expect. But again, a conference game, you can't lose another one. You need to keep it
No,
where it's at and just kind of leave it there. Um, because you're right now you're still at the top. You're behind Tampa Bay, but you beat Tampa Bay head to head. You're tied with the Rams, but you beat them head to head. So like they got all these head to head wins and the tiebreakers against these teams, so they just need to keep going, right? So
and I mean, and then they got games against Green Bay and Detroit still on the schedule. So I mean,
yeah,
they're
yep,
set up to. I mean, the path to the number 1 seed is right in front of them.
yeah, it's right there. It's right there. And look, still being the defending champs, everything got to come through Philly. So everybody knows it. Everybody's gunning for it, and I think the Eagles are ready to go. And I think you're going to see a different team Sunday than you saw 2 Thursdays ago, for sure, for sure. That was an embarrassing thing for them, and I don't think that it sat well with them. Put it that way. I don't think it sat well at all.
Did not. No. Nope.
So
All right, brother. Where can everybody find you at?
you can find me on Twitter, Instagram at Kyle Mont16. Find us wherever you need to find us with our podcast, Spotify, YouTube. You can also find Jim and I both on the Clashing Conferences Network. We Jim cameoed this week. Had a nice little segment on the members pod. I'm there every week. Got my first hosting gig this week, so that was a fun thing to get off my back,
It was a
get the
good
monkey
time.
off the back, so to speak. Yeah, it was good. It was good. So anybody that wants to talk sports, friendly sports, banter with like minded people, feel free to hit us up and subscribe, man. It's a fun time. So that's what got us into this. Jim and I have been talking sports like this for I don't know what 40 years plus. So
40
if
plus. That's
if we
sad.
had if our dad let us actually use the tape recorder or the video recorder 30 years ago, we would have, and we would have been doing this. But
You
we
look
weren't
but
even
don't
allowed.
touch.
Exactly, we were barely even allowed to look at that thing when he was using it. So gotta
Don't
love it.
step
Where can they
near it.
find you,
Don't
dude?
breathe
Yep.
on it.
Yeah. Yeah. We had a living room that you couldn't live in. It was that type of family,
Love
man.
you,
It was that
Dad.
type of
Love you,
house. Yeah.
Dad. I love you. And
Shout
now
out to
my kids go
Pops.
up there and they're climbing
Oh,
all
they
over
love it.
everything,
Yeah. We were
eating
like,
and
we weren't
drinking
even
on the
I don't
couch.
even
I'm
know
like,
what this
what?
room is. I don't even know what this room is.
What
What are
is
you
going
talking
on?
about? Yeah. We weren't even allowed to look in this room. We had to walk to the kitchen like this.
Uh,
No, we can't see it.
yeah,
Can't see it.
blind. Yeah, it was like dividers up.
Yeah, yeah. The only thing we didn't have was the plastic on the couch. We should have, but we didn't.
Well, we didn't sit on it, so you didn't need the plastic.
Yeah, exactly. Love it. Where can they find you, bro?
uh, love you, Dad.
Not in the living room, of
At
course. Not in
Philly,
the living room.
yeah, yeah, at the rec room, the rec room.
Yeah, yeah.
You can find me on all social media at Philly Jimbo. You probably, if you're watching this on YouTube, you know the YouTube channel. So subscribe, and then every day, Monday through Friday, this day in Philly sports history, come take a trip down Philly sports memory lane, have some fun. And I'll give it a little sneak preview because I feel like it's fitting with what we're going into this week with the Giants. tomorrow is the anniversary of the loss that the Eagles had in 2021 to or Las Vegas, out in Vegas, that led to the infamous roots and flowers. You got to water and fertilize it. And then the Eagles have been unstoppable under Nick Sirianni for the most part since then. So,
Greatest coach in Eagles history. Just
but
saying.
looking forward to an Eagles win. Next week is the bye week. We will be here because obviously we got to recap this game. There will be some stories, the trade deadline, all that's coming up. So stay tuned for the bye week special. Who knows what might happen? We just
Who knows?
decided tonight we're going to keep going with it. So
We might get the Kelsey brothers on. You never know. They had AI on. I mean, look, 2 weeks in a row they get the Rock and then AI. I don't know what to do with these guys. I mean, at some point they're just going to have the real stars on, and they're just going to have to ask us on. I think they're
right.
scared to do it because they don't want us to one up them on their own show. But at this point, it has to happen, right? It has to happen. They're going
Yes.
after all of our favorites. They're going after the Rock. They're going after Iverson. Who's next? Who are they going to go after? They're going to get Brandon Graham on. I mean, it's ridiculous at this
Well,
point.
BG was already on.
I
BG
know they're going
was
to get him
already
on
on.
now to talk about his comeback and talk about the Kelly Green. Like, what are they going to do? Who are they going to get on next? It's just they
Who are you
got
gonna get?
it. They
Like
get
Seth, Chase Utley, um, who else?
I don't
Clyde
know.
Simmons, like
Oh,
somebody.
that'd
Randall.
be great. Dawk. They're going to get Dawkins on there to talk about stuff.
Right.
Ridiculous. Ridiculous. Just make the
All right.
call, Jason. Make the call, Jason. We'll drink garage beer with you. We'll do whatever you need to do. Let's go.
100%. Just not the lime. I'll drink the regular, not the lime.
Garage beer light for me. I'm trying to watch my figure, you know?
I
Love
think
it.
it's a
Go
good way to end
birds.
it.
Go
Go
birds.
Birds, Eagles, Giants. Tune in next week. And Kelly Green, I love it.
We'll talk about the destruction of Dahmer and CTE, man.
CTE, man. That's what I'm going to be for Halloween. All right,
Real
everybody.
easy
See
to
you next
do.
week.